Welcome back to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. We are in the Crusader camp, where we have just been named the Knight Commander of the 5th Crusade. And I'm guessing this will be a conversation episode, because I suspect there will be several people who will want to talk to us in the camp here before we go into the Commander's tent, where the Queen is waiting for us. As you may notice, there is a big fat plus on my character portrait. I will not level up the character in this episode unless it turns out that there is not a ton of conversation. I'd rather do that in the actual primary episodes, since I'm not sure if everyone bothers watching the conversation episodes, and I'm pre-recording quite extensively because I'm enjoying the game, and well, this episode should be out on April the 26th, maybe the 25th, and I'm recording this on April the 8th, so yeah, pre-recorded, yes. Okay, let's get back to the game and get to it. Irabeth is coming with us, but apparently we cannot talk to her. We just had our conversation with Darren. Here's the theater, yeah. A well-dressed old woman is lecturing at a motley company, shaking her ladle at them belligerently. Noticing you, she flings up her hand. Good afternoon, your commanderness. You remember us? We are the crew from the next door theatre company. The one you saved in Canabras back when you weren't your commanderness yet. As you can see, we've come on the campaign with you. We signed up to clean pots and mend the soldiers' clothes. Keeping up a theatre is expensive, so we all have to take side jobs, but we don't stop what we're doing. We're going to put on a play about your legendary feats. Of course, the crowd scenes are difficult. We can't find the people to play the hordes of demons, and we decided against using a ritual to summon real demons. Luckily, we have Master Kem. He's invented a way to solve this problem using sound. Caught a pig and some piglets who ran away from a burned-out village. The glum and husky half-orc mumbles softly, unlike what I just did. We put the piglets in a box and scare them a little, and the sound they make is just like an approaching demon horde. Today I learned. But the most important question is, of course, choosing the lead actor who will play the great Knight Commander. We had a right Barney over it, breaking a number of lances as well as a shovel, a rolling pin, and a set of back scratchers. But we just couldn't decide no matter what. Maybe you can help us? We have 2 candidates that are most suited to the role. One will have the honor of conveying your heroism on the stage, Commander. I'm to be played by a gnome? Not a gnome. 2 gnomes. Rumbledum and Harifant are twins. One of them sits on the other's shoulders and puts on a long coat so they can play tall characters. They switch places every so often, so each gets their moment of fame, and that way they each only have to learn half of the script. A Cyclops actor? He's completely tame, believe me. Has a few issues with articulation, but what a powerful physique. We'll make him a nice costume, wash him up, brush his hair. Truth be told, in our show, you mainly just make short heroic exclamations at the fateful moment, like "Onward," or "We'll never give up," or "My heart burns with courage." Pumpkin can definitely handle the script. Don't you have any other actors who even vaguely resemble me? We're a small and poorly funded theatre, and we only have a few actors. But they're all so talented, one of a kind. I've chosen the ones that are the best fit for your role. Trust my vision. I have more than a few successful plays under my belt. I don't need a theatre like this. What if I order the soldiers to throw you out? In that case, We'll add this scene to the script. Oh, what a twist. The lead character exiles the actors of his own theatre for attempting to put on a play about his character. Oh, fine, you can stay. So, what about the lead actor? You must choose. Alright, I've made my decision. The entire crew looks at you holding their breath. I will be played by the Gnome Twins. Wonderful. Sorry we took you away from all the important things heroes and commanders do. We're off to rehearsal. I mean, first we'll wash some pots, and then we're off to rehearsal. Let's go, you lazy lumps. Don't embarrass old grandma now. As an evil character, it really feels kind of off to have a theatre play about my but whatever.
I'll go ahead.
Ooh, loot. Thank you. Sila. A group of soldiers is talking loudly, laughing joyfully and passing around a flask. So, picture this. My sword is by the fire, there's 2 goblins about to snatch it, and 3 more are digging through my tent. And I'm sat in the bushes, wearing just my mail shirt, wondering what the blast to do. An old mercenary taught me about the mail shirt. You can't sleep in armor, but it's not so bad in mail once you get used to it. Too bad no one told me not to go into the bushes without my sword. So, what did you do? What did I do? I barked like crazy. Goblins are afraid of dogs, you know, so they all went wild and started running around. I spot my sword and they spot me. So, I jump over to the fire, wearing nothing but my mail shirt. And I grab my sword and I yell in my big tough voice. "O Inheritor, grant me the power to crush these filthy creatures." My sword's shining, the goblins are screaming, I jump to attack them, and they fight back. But I fought them off somehow. But ever since then, I never take a step without my weapon. Sila takes a sip from the flask. That's some story. Hey, stop! Stop gulping, leave some for us. We've only just set off, and you're already drinking? And with the queen in the camp? Stop this at once! The knights quickly snap to attention. Sila raises the flask and says loudly, "Right you are, Commander Tirabade. We are but drinking to the queen's health." Sila, show some discipline. Sila becomes serious and puts the flask away. "My apologies, Commander." That's better. You're a paladin in an army, not a mercenary on a raiding party. Make sure you act like it. I don't think we can talk more to her. No. Field medic, we'll go into the tents too. I need to find the storyteller.
I know the way.
Wilsa Garms, Horgus Squirm, Woldrift, Jernow. This is a supplies train, and this is our quartermaster, Wilsa Garms. Go to him for supplies. And Horgus is apparently not too pleased with the quartermaster. Here he is, Storyteller. Together with Nenio, of course. The old elf smiles when he hears your footsteps. Allow me to congratulate you on your victory and on acquiring mythical powers capable of casting down the strongest of demons. I got the page you were looking for from the Grey Garrison. The storyteller carefully takes the page from your hands. His fingers touch the ancient letters gently, examining them lightly, following their lines. I see myself. Young, energetic, able to see. Oh gods, have I found the key to my past? Finally, I will find out what my own mind has been hiding from me. The elf's expression becomes withdrawn. The wrinkles on his face soften. Thank you, Caladron. And please, follow me to my story. Let us embark on this journey together. The storyteller inhales sharply, times, and begins his story. They are leaving. The people of Kyonin faced the coming earthfall and admitted that they were incapable of handling this disaster. Proud rulers, artful crafters, brave warriors, wise mages, and skilled healers, all of them hurry to the gate of Sobrian. Sovirian, looking around fearfully. A clean, safe world is waiting for them there. My people decided not to fight for Golarion. I am ashamed, and I am sorry for them. Their hearts wavered in the face of the catastrophe, but my will is strong. I am staying. My kinfolk are looking at me angrily. How dare I diminish their decision with my recklessness? My choice make them cowards, traitors of their own home. One of them, my former mentor, looks at me bitterly. He hands me a neat notebook with a tree bark cover. In case you change your mind. With a heavy sigh, he returns to the line of those departing. Forgive me, brothers and sisters. I watch the gate of the Sovirian stone close, separating me from them. It is time for me to go too. I open my master's notebook. These are his notes about traveling between worlds, in case you change your mind. He hopes the burden I shouldered voluntarily will be too much, that I will lose heart and find my way to Sovirian. That will never happen. My mouth set stubbornly, I tear my master's notebook to pieces. I use my forced pride as a shield against my fear of what is to come. Why did the elves decide to flee, not fight? The storyteller's lips purse with disdain. They are afraid to lose what they have. They were rulers, long-lived and powerful. They valued their lives and sunshine too much to enter the fight with the aftermath of Earthfall. Your mentor is a mage, then you must be too, yes? Yes. I am an archmage, and this title is well deserved. I have acquired a delicate mastery and succeeded in many areas of magic, but curiosity has always pushed me toward new knowledge since the first day of my apprenticeship. What is the Sovirian stone? A magnificent crystal bent into an arch by a mighty hand of an ancient divine creator. Our great gate to other worlds. It breathes power. It dreams of eternity. Why are you angry at your fellow elves? I spent many hundreds of years in Kyonin. I have always admired the way my kinfolk cared for the forest that was our home. But the rest of the world seemed to mean nothing to them. But I love Golarion. All its places, all the forms it manifests in. I travelled widely and then came home and told my kinfolk about my troubles, but they weren't interested. They only cared about Kyonin. Their lack of desire to hear about the wider world makes me sad and angry. What happened next? Earthfall happened at night. I am standing at the top of my tower, many miles to the north of Kyonin, and I see a blaze far in the south. I hear a horrendous rumble. The air is groaning, giving way to a huge rock rushing down on my world. And then, a blow. A vibration that penetrates everything, reaching down into the bowels of Golarion and up to the vaults of the sky. Crunching bones, blood from burst vessels filling my eyes with darkness. Drowning in timelessness along with countless denizens of Golarion. Never before have we been so united in our feelings. When I come round, the darkness remains. My first terrible thought, I'm blind. But no, little by little I begin to see the stone wall. I am alive, but why is it so dark? The answer is quick. The smell of ash everywhere. The great burnt sacrifice filled the air with incinerated particles of what was recently the continent of Aslant. Great clouds of ash covered the sky, cutting us off from the sun and the moon, dooming us to dusk at day and complete darkness at night. My heart sinks with fear. Treacherous thoughts fill my mind. Why did I stay? Why didn't I run like everyone else when I had the chance? I clench my teeth and stand up to watch Earthfall proudly like the last Archmage of Kyonin should. Will my world really perish like this? Will I perish? No, that will never happen. I am alive and I can fight Earthfall and the darkness, not run from it in a blind panic like my kinfolk and my cowardly teacher. But what can I do? I will not stop the disaster. I will hardly be able to save empires from their destruction. What can I do? I am but one archmage, powerful and weak at the same time. What is Earthfall? A disaster of untold proportions. An unborn planet dropped on Golarion by blind fate or someone's evil will. A blow so strong that the continent of Aslant is destroyed within moments, turned to ashes, wiped off the face of Golarion. In this burnt sacrifice, clouds of ash and dust are born, stealing our sun. Without the warmth of our star, the air cools, the soil is barren, dark creatures crawl out of their lairs to rule. And the most frightening thing? Without the sun, all hope dies in the heart. This is the age of darkness. What was that tower you mentioned? It's my retreat to the north of Kyonin. My home away from home, my observatory. From its top, I watched the stars, and when they were correctly aligned, the other worlds as well. Here, in the northern wastelands, I found the highest mountain and built a tower on top of it. On clear days, I could see the mist over the lake of mists and veils in the east. That is how high I was. What are you going to do next? I don't know. I need to think. My opponent, Earthfall, is much stronger than me. Without noticing, the storyteller raises his voice to a shout. It is merciless. It does not simply destroy life. It kills an era, ending the greatness of Golarion's civilizations. They will sink into oblivion, be forgotten as if they never existed. I need to think. The elf suddenly winces and is silent for a few moments as he calms his heavy breathing. Forgive me, I shouldn't have raised my voice. This story was much harder than many before it, most likely because I played the main role in it. It is so strange to see myself feel the emotions tearing me up inside, those that I felt a long time ago, and not remember them. It's like I split. I became both the storyteller and the main character. Too bad the story ended at that moment. Please, if you find other pages covered with ancient elven writings on your travels, bring them to me. I might be able to shed some light on my past, and we will find out how my story ended, and perhaps even why I forgot it. Just get this away. So I prefer it to be grey, so I know that I've done it. And I also think that this brings me back there. Good. Have you decided to join the crusade? I have decided not to, I'm afraid. My path and the path of the crusade lead in the same direction, but alas, they are not yet one and the same. After the demons were driven away from Canabras, the path into the Worldwound became open, if only temporarily. I'm planning on using this opportunity to visit. The elf falls silent. Doesn't matter now. I'd hate to bore you with the details of my venture, which may prove useless even for myself. However, I will try to return to the Crusaders and aid them in their confrontation with the demons after I'm done. I hope to meet you again, in this world rather than the next. I have to go. I wish you interesting adventures. Help me to Skari and Baphomet soon? I have numerous questions for that. Jeez. Jeesh. Nenio. We should talk to, Orgus. He doesn't want to talk to us now. The burly soldier with an impressive beard greets you with a broad smile. The Wilser Garms, the camp quartermaster at your service. How may I be of help? Tell me about yourself. The quartermaster looks away sheepishly. There isn't much to tell, really. I was born in Canabras with a humble family. I got an education, taught myself to read and write. Got drafted into the army, spent 3 years as a shield bearer in the first line. I left after I did my time and joined the Stonemasons Guild, then moved on to the shipwrights and rose to a crew chief. Sailed to Iobaria twice and returned with goods. Made some money, built a house, but haven't started a family yet. I think I will after we are done with this war. But a few years ago, something started gnawing at me. I got this feeling like I needed to go home, that there was a storm headed for my native city. And when there's trouble in Mendev, there's only one thing to do. You go to the recruiter and sign up for the army. And so I did. At first they wanted to make me an infantry sergeant, but then they decided I'd be a better fit in the supply department. I can take care of army property, and I'm pretty handy around a warehouse. Not to mention I know how to manage a band of helpers. And so that's how I became a quartermaster. WotR gives you a shy smile and shrugs, as if this were a wholly unremarkable story typical of any crusader. Right. What are your duties in the camp? A little bit of everything. What's an officer to a soldier? A strict father. So what does this make a quartermaster like myself? Something like their mum, that's what. I make sure the lads have everything they need to defeat the enemy and come back from battle in one piece. WotR starts ticking off his fingers. That means food, firewood, medicine, tents, mended clothes, fixed weapons. The horses have got to be fed and watered. The camp's got to be fortified by the evening and broken up by the morning. I make sure that the wages are paid on time and that the wagon wheels don't squeak. And then there are reports. God, until you asked, I never realized how many duties I actually had. You're welcome, Mr. Garms. What do the soldiers think of their new commander? They mostly tell tales about your unusual power, but they don't shy away from talking about you as a person too. Soldiers are always like that. If Iomade herself descended from heaven, you bet they'd jabber on about how she grips her sword and how good she looks in her armor. Word is that you possess some special magic and know spells that no one's ever seen in Mendev before. People say you can do all sorts of stunts, turn into a dragon, throw lightning bolts, fly across the sky, that you specialize in this one spell that lets you carouse and make love all night long without ever flagging. I don't know where they got that last one from. You'd think they weren't righteous warriors of light, but common soldiers. Ha! WotR says with a genial smile. Show me what you have. He has items. I will go back to him. I think he has something that I definitely need to buy. No, it isn't he who has it. But yeah, he has many interesting items, and he will be staying with us, so I will be selling to him. And there's also going to be a blacksmith standing here when we actually started the crusade. So I'll be selling the irregularly, like say for instance, this one is named Blocker. This kind of weapon I will be selling to Mr. Garms, whereas I seem to only have named stuff right now. But let's say that I loot a dagger +1, then I'll be selling those, even all the way up to +5. Those I will be selling to the regular blacksmith, because it's easier to, if I sell something that I shouldn't have sold, then I can always go back to Mr. Garms and buy it. Waldriff probably doesn't have much to say. I don't care if the queen doesn't like waiting. She told me to produce the camp, and that's what I shall do. Okay, Lan, I have to read that. I haven't read out the statements, but this one is good. Hey, Caledon, I was trying to say the Knight Commander commands the knights really fast, and I almost twisted my tongue.
Follow my lead.
Indeed. So as I mentioned in the previous episode, if you're playing this yourself, do make sure to talk to the storyteller before you leave or go into the tent where the queen is. Otherwise you won't meet him again until the next act or chapter. Yeah, that's a bit boring because it does give you some interesting information in that conversation that we just had with him. It's perfectly normal for a knight commander to go around and loot stuff in his own army's camp, right? Oh, not all of you agree. Well, that's too bad. I'm gonna do it anyways. Tirabade's tent. This is mine and Anevia's tent. We are both used to traveling, but the Queen insisted our tent to be furnished like a commanding officer's tent. Well, I'll just help myself to your stuff, Irabeth. Don't mind me. The half plate of vigor. Well, thank you so much, Irabeth. It was a pleasure. Hope you don't miss your armor. Nura Dendiwar's tent. This is Nura Dendiwar's tent. It seems she brought a lot of unnecessary items along with her. I might be able to help with that, you know. Also brought a lot of useful items. Have we visited the entirety of the camp? Yes, we have. So we'll go to the chapel tent next. What did you say, sir? Nothing, Commander. Irabade, happy to serve. Altar of Sarenrae, the healing light, the goddess of the sun, healing and redemption. Altar of Desna, the great dreamer. Altar of Torag, the father of creation, the dwarven god of craft and kin. Altar of Erastil, old Deadeye, god of hunting, farming and quiet pastoral life. An altar of Iomede, the light of the sword, the goddess of justice and valor, and the patron of the crusades. I thought there was... maybe later. There used to be some books or stuff we could put here. Next up is the Infirmary tent, or rather the field medic. This is the field hospital. Alas, the clerics of Canabras suffered especially heavy losses, so we are in desperate need of healers. We have Camellia in here, we have Kiado and Visali Rathimus. The book. Kiado. Teacher, what this word? You see, orthopraxy. It means things should be done right, not slapdash. A stout old man with a fuzzy grey beard greets you with a deep bow. Well met, Commander. You've caused quite the stir. Everyone thought Canabras was done for, but the gods had other plans. That was quite a blaze over the grey garrison. All the vermin running out with their tails between their legs. Who are you? Visali Rathimus, former rector of the Canabras Temple of Abadar, and now your humble servant. Humble servant, not humble servant. In times like these, one cannot serve the god of cities while sitting comfortably behind a city wall. You pursue a sacred cause, and I will help you in any way I can. I await your orders, Commander. Lead us onward to Dresden. How did you end up on the battlefield? Everyone here has a story like that, but mine is a rather boring one. Believe it or not, it was bureaucracy. When the old rector of the Canabras Temple died, may Abadar rest his soul, the church required a replacement. I volunteered and served for 30 years without incident. I prayed, organized festivals and funerals, bought candles, sanctified water, boring, mundane things that make up the daily routine of civilized society. But then civilized society failed, and it was time for me to go to war. Praise Abadar, who led me through the ruins to the Defender's heart. Who is that boy with you? This one? Kiado, the shepherd, my apprentice. He's a smart boy and his faith is strong. He serves Erastil, though, but there's still something he can learn from an old servant of Abadar. He'll be a great cleric when he gets a little older. What kind of help can I expect from you? First, if you need a scroll with a divine spell, I have a lot of them. Something for every emergency. Second, while you are at the camp, I can read any scroll for you. Guaranteed, no surprises. And you'd better not leave the camp without a cleric. I won't be going with you, so you'll need someone else who can read scrolls. I don't know if there really is anything more.
Far.
Nope. That should be it. Now there is a conversation happening inside with the queen as well, but I think I shall do that in the next bowl number, I guess, episode. So yeah, we've been around camp, we've talked to the people we could talk to. And with that, if you do have any questions and or comments, please do feel free to leave those in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope to be seeing you all in the next one.